boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. The heavyweight division is kind of up in the air right now. You see they're trying to get a little momentum going with Joe Joyce, Joseph Parker. We already know AJ and Usyk have things going on. But there's one heavyweight, in my opinion, who's going to be the guy to kind of really take over. And that's the Cuban sensation, the Flash, Frank Sanchez. If you don't know who he is, you need to go back and watch his fights. He fought earlier this year, but when he went up against F.A. Agjaba, that just proved to me that he's ready to start fighting the elite. Because he just showed that there are just so many dimensions and levels to his game that anyone who fights him is going to have a tough time. They're going to have a tough time. He is so fast and so powerful that any heavyweight who fights him is going to struggle. And going forward with him, he doesn't have another fight scheduled right now. He's training out there with Eddie Reynoso and Canelo. But I just can't understand, why he hasn't got an opportunity yet. And maybe that's why it's taking so long for him to get another fight, is because they're waiting to see how the dust is gonna settle. But to be honest with you, when you look at the heavyweight landscape, when you look at the rankings from the WBC, WBA, when you look at the WBA, WBO, WBC, and IBF, and you look at who's ranked in there, Frank Sanchez is right in there, man, in the top 12, and he's in most of them in the top 5. More so than you find it with Parker and Joe Joyce, especially Joe Joyce. So I think it's a matter of time before Frank Sanchez gets his break. And when he does, he's gonna have a breakout fight, and people are gonna know about him. Unfortunately, that breakout fight is gonna come against probably his fellow countryman, Luis Ortiz. And I think Frank Sanchez beats Luis Ortiz because Luis Ortiz is not the same. Charles Martin's not known for being a super heavyweight boxer. Charles Martin came out, man, and he gave Luis Ortiz all he could handle. It looked like he was going to get Luis Ortiz out of there. But Luis Ortiz, being an amazing boxer that he is with those heavy hands, had that old man strength, and he had Charles Martin tangled up in those damn ropes. So when you think about Frank Sanchez and his level of activity, he has to get back in the ring soon. Right now, there's nothing scheduled that I could find that I'm aware of with my boxing resources. But he needs to get back soon. So when you look at him as far as how he's ranked, especially right now with the WBC, he got right now Tyson Fury and Dillian White. Dillian White no longer is holding any position as the interim world heavyweight champion. That's gone. So it's Tyson Fury, but Tyson Fury says he's retired. So really you got, for a guy like Frank Sanchez, Deontay Wilder, we're not counting him. It sounds like he's retired. So he's just set him aside. But for Frank Sanchez, you got Joe Joyce, who's ranked number 2. Joseph Parker, who's ranked number 3. And when it comes to the WBO, Parker and Joe Joyce are the 1 and 2. So those are big names. But right after that, the number 3 and Parker is Frank Sanchez, the number 4. And Frank Sanchez is ranked right up there and across all of the organizations. So I don't see why this year he shouldn't be in a huge fight. I mean, he's undefeated, 20 fights, undefeated, like 13 knockouts. He's got some pop. He doesn't have that one shot that'll just knock you out cold like Deontay Wilder, but if he catches you clean, he'll have you dancing in days. Like, he's that powerful. And he's so fast for a heavyweight. Well, just for a boxer, he has super fast hands. And he's 6'4", he's a big boy, man. But when you look at some of these rankings and the guys they have in the top 10, top 12, Joyce and Parker, they deserve to be there. Sanchez is up there. Ruiz Jr., I think he's just hurting himself. Ruiz Jr., and then you got Ortiz. And Luis Ortiz and Ruiz are about to fight. That's a great fight, but Ruiz Jr. is about to lose that fight. Luis Ortiz is about to clip Ruiz Jr. because Ruiz Jr. has lacked discipline And ever since he got those two big paydays with AJ, he just doesn't really want to train and doesn't really want to do much to continue being great. That Ruiz Jr. that I grew to really be fascinated with as a boxer, especially that last fight he had before the first AJ fight. He fought that guy, that European fighter. I can't remember his last name. He was much bigger than Ruiz. But man, Ruiz, he gave that guy the business, man. Super impressive performance in that fight. Then he went on and beat Joshua the very next fight. But that Ruiz, he's gone. Forget about him, people. He doesn't exist anymore. So when you think about Ruiz and Ortiz is going to clip him this summer. And then Ruiz Jr. probably fall off the rankings. And then after that, you got this guy Hrgovic, you got Hunter, and just different names that kind of Hellenius and Otto Wallen and Dubois in there. But for Frankie Sanchez, he needs a fight against a Ruiz Jr., a Dubois. He needs something against a big name, man. And Joyce and Parker, maybe he gets the winner of those guys. Or, if Luis Ortiz beats Andy Ruiz, maybe they put him up. Excuse me, you put them against each other, the two Cubans. That'll be a great fight. But I don't know if they'll want to fight each other. But that would be a great heavyweight matchup. They both need each other because nobody at all wants to really give them a chance. But F.A. Java is still rolling around out there. Charles Martin's still rolling around out there. That may be a good comeback fight for Charles Martin. Frankie Sanchez against Charles Martin. I think Frankie Sanchez just annihilates Charles Martin if they fight. But people, if you don't know who Frank Sanchez is, you need the Cuban Flash. You need to go in there and look at YouTube at some of his fights and see what we're talking about because he's that good of a fighter. So as far as the WBC goes, man, Wilder, he's out of there. We're not even talking about him. Joyce and Parker, they're going to be fighting. Sanchez, Ruiz Jr., Ortiz, they're going to be fighting. And the rest of these guys you don't even hear about. You just don't hear about it. That's the WBC. But then you look at the WBO, as far as how they have things ranked, you got Usyk has all the other belts. The only one doesn't have is the WBC. But Joyce and Parker, the 1 and 2. Frankie Sanchez, the number 3. Anthony Joshua, man, they made him the number 4. Like, they just no respect on Anthony Joshua's name. Ruiz Jr. is number 5. Dubois is number 6. Luis Ortiz is 7. There goes his name again, Michael Hunter. And then Zhang, the fighter out of China. So that's the breakdown there. Still, the 1 and 2 is Joseph Parker and Frankie Sanchez, number 3. Right? And that's for the WBO. So now we go there. We just talked about the WBO. We talked about the WBC. What does the WBA have to say about heavyweight champions? When you come and look at them, okay, we know Usyk has the belts. Trevor Bryan, this guy is like the invisible heavyweight who's supposed to be coming back to fight Daniel Dubois, okay? Because Daniel Dubois is the number 1 ranked as far as the WBO is concerned. So he gets a shot at Trevor Bryan, which he should beat Trevor Bryan with no problem. Then, Michael Hunter is the number 2. Hellenius is the number 3. See, you're hearing different names now. And this is what I just can't understand. You have these different, organizations, but the way they rank people is crazy. How the hell you have, and I'm going to tell you why it's crazy. So Dubois is number 1. It's so ridiculous, man. Under the WBA, Dubois is ranked number 1. Hunter's ranked number 2. Hellenius is ranked number 3. This Huey Fury is ranked number 4. Then you have Anthony Joshua as number 6. Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua is number 5. Deontay Wilder is number 6. Some guy from Germany named Kabiel. Then Makhmudov at number 8. Kosobutski at number 9. Then Bakole at number 10. You don't even know who the hell these people are. So Frankie Sanchez isn't even on here. When you get to number 11 underneath the WBA, you got Ruiz Jr., 12 is Parker. They're 11 and 12, so all these other guys are ranked above him. Then you have Lorena and Yoka at 14. Frankie Sanchez is nowhere on here. That's horrible. But that's why you see these ridiculous matches taking place. So that's for the WBA. And then you come and look at the IBF, right? And let's see if Frankie Sanchez is on here. So we know Usyk has the belt. He's the big boy. Number 1 is vacant. Number 2 is Luis Ortiz. Then you see the name again, Hergovic. Joshua's 4. Yoka's 5. I don't know who Yoka is, man. He's out of France, but I don't know who he is. Then Joyce is number 6. Caballel 7. Gassiev is 8. Ruiz Jr. is 9. McKean is 10. Charles Martin, so he's still floating around. He's 11. Frankie Sanchez is 12. Zhang is 13. Huey Fury is 14. And Bakoli is 15. But Parker and Joe Joyce aren't even on. Well, yeah, Joyce is on here. Parker's not even on here. So, you know, when it comes to these rankings, man, these are as of 14 April, so they're pretty current. It's just, you can't really, only one I really look at, Ring Magazine, WBC, and that's kind of what I run with, man. These other rankings, man, are just kind of BS. But what I was pointing out is Parker, Joseph Parker, Joe Joyce, Frank Sanchez, Luis Ortiz. Those are the names you see floating around. Okay, those are the names. Those are the guys who should be mixing it up. So, you know, the other guys are pretty active, but when is Frankie Sanchez going to get his break? You know, Wilder and Fury, they're out of here. Okay, let's set them aside. It's over for them. Let's just say it's over for them. But Frankie Sanchez, when is he going to get his chance? F.A. Jabba fell off the radar for all these organizations. But it's just a matter of time. And I think if he gets the right opportunity, he's going to blast somebody out the water. Especially if they put him in there with a Hergovic or one of these, this guy like a Yoka, or even the Hunters and all those guys. They're not gonna do well against Frank Sanchez. So I like the Cuban Flash. He's extremely talented, working out there with Eddie Reynoso, and he's been looking great. So hopefully he'll be back soon, and hopefully he'll get a big name. But he's up there in the rankings, so they can only avoid him for so long. Just have to see what happens if he's going to be fighting Luis Ortiz, the winner between Ortiz and Ruiz. But he's going to have to get somebody because he's up there. He may end up in a situation like Dillian White where he just can't get the big title fight that he wants for years and just keeps having to prove himself over and over and over. And hopefully he shows up when he gets the opportunity. So more to come on Frank Sanchez, one of my favorite fighters. Really enjoyed watching this guy fight. Him and Stanionis, and Mantis Stanionis. Stanionis is welterweight. But those are the guys I have my eye on. And I think everybody else should pay attention to them too. I think they're going to make a whole lot of noise. They just need the right opportunity. They're going to make a whole lot of noise. That being said, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Shout out to all the veterans. You guys keep safe. And I'm in the breeze.